Good Saturday afternoon from here at the Eight Bowls Super Speedway. We welcome you to the first ever race of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. This is the 4th of July 250. There's a look at your grid based off the results from qualifying when we combine the times. Kyle Langland's got his work cut out from the rear of the field. As Blake Cook on the pole alongside Brittany White, one out of TriStar, the other out of Daniel Voiles Racing. Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez in row number 2. Kind of surprising to see Chris Cockrum in row 3 alongside Daniel Voiles, who, by the way, is in his car. That's why I'm Sonic the Blue Hedgehog calling this race. As we have the nationwide pace car leading the field out. It is going to be a really fun race here today. 70 laps here for the 4th of July race. These drivers will have to make a pit stop since we're on the GNS mod. It's going to be a very fun race here this afternoon at Eight Bowls Super Speedway. At least my coverage will be better than NASCAR on Fox, I can tell you that for sure. Pace car will pull off. It is time to go Xfinity Racing, and the 4th of July 250 is underway. Some inexperienced drivers we didn't expect to be qualifying up at the front of the field had good qualifyings, like Blake Cook, for instance. Was not expecting him to be the fastest Toyota after qualifying yesterday. Of course, after qualifying yesterday, NASCAR impounded these cars. Austin Dillon now in second, Chris Cockrum in third. Daniel Suarez, the driver from Mexico, Daniel Voiles running out the top 5. As Blake Cook will lead the first lap of this race. First of one of many special races, I should say. Don't know how many I'm doing this year. Of course, I know the Battle of the SRA will be on that September holiday, which we'll get to that later. Or if we don't do it, it'll be back. Or actually, no, the Battle of the SRA will be in 2027. As here comes Daniel Voiles in that 26. Normally, this would be a JGL car, but remember, Daniel Voiles running a custom car, that AMW Chevrolet, that cream soda, AMW cream soda. We also got Oreo, Yu-Gi-Oh, Andy's Frozen Custard. Also, if you notice, there's an anime character, the Dark Magician Girl, right there on the left and right side of that 26 machine. And he is going to take the lead with Austin Dillon, his fellow Chevy right there. The late Eric McClure right now in third. Kind of really surprising to see a lot of inexperienced, a lot of big name, a lot of underdog teams up here at the front of the field. Remember, this is one of our special event races. There were no signups. There are no points on the line. This is for bragging rights, but when this series becomes the Buffalo Wild Wings series, that's a completely different animal. As Voiles will lead that lap. DV's going to have a number of other paint schemes he's going to run. Like our next Super Speedway race we're going to do in a couple of weeks, or for the birthday bash at Talladega with this mod. Again, no signups because we'll be using these current 2015 drivers. Of course, the 9 drivers who failed to qualify for this race: Wayne Lopez, Kyle Busch, big name there. Danny Rand, Brianna Knight, Dale Earnhardt Jr., big name there. We thought Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. would make the top 33 easily. They did not. They were not quick enough in the fast 33. And since they they are Cup Series drivers. They had to go home. Caitlin Roy, the Washington sisters, and Amanda Scoutmaster. Those were the 9 drivers. Unfortunately, had to go home as a result. And of course, Kyle Langland got in based off, we went back to time trials. That's how he got the final provisional spot. We thought he would be a D and Q, but then the 25 was high enough in owner points, because remember, it went owner points because they got the points from Athenian Motorsports. I noticed the pack is separate. Are we under caution? Or did somebody have a problem? Oh, Ryan Seega stopped. That's why. Problems for Ryan Sieg in the 39 as he has teleported to pit road. Let's see what happened to the Uncle Bob's self-storage Chevrolet. This would be the right Zachary. Oh, he blew up. That would be why. And it held up Chase Elliott, Daytona winner Ryan Reed, Mario Goslin, Joey Gase. Yes, I removed the Y. Brad Keselowski, Derek White, Cale Conley. Chloe Carmichael had held up. Chloe Erickson. As Eric McClure now leads, the late Eric McClure leads that lap. As that was not what I was trying. I was trying to go to the 13, made me go to the pace car. That's Brittany White. Normally it would be Regan Smith in the 7, but it's Brittany White in the McDonald's Chevrolet out of Daniel Voiles Racing in a collaboration with Junior Motorsports. We should go ahead and mention that. Scott Lagasse Jr. had a good qualifying effort. There's DV, currently in the top 5. We're in the early stages of this race. Our track description brought to you by The Amazing Deal. This is a 2.5 figure 8 super speedway, 31 degrees of banking. We are turning left and right. As we're back on the race leader, Eric McClure. It is 70 laps, so basically it's 180 miles. As I'll double check the, see if I'm right or not. 175 miles, so there you go. I was off by 5 miles. Pit road speed 65. 63 laps these drivers can go on fuel, but I have a very suspicious feeling we will not. These drivers will have to pit at least once in this race. Got the TriStar teammates, Cook, Starr, McClure leading. Then we have Chris Cockrum for MBM. Brittany White out of Daniel Voiles Racing. JD Motorsports Ross Chastain. Justin Marks. Daniel Voiles, the owner of DVR. Daniel Voiles, by the way, when we get to the new season of Buffalo Wild Wings, he is not running the full schedule for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that he is a part-time driver. He is only going to run the major events, such as let me throw a few examples. Daytona, he'll be running, we'll see this same paint scheme for Daytona, as he's going to get in front of Scott Lagasse. It looks like Lagasse wanted to cut him a break. So he would run Daytona, Darlington, Talladega, Charlotte, and Indianapolis, which is 5 races, 5 different paint schemes that he's going to be running this season, the upcoming Buffalo Wild Wings Series season. So you're seeing one of the 4 liveries, or no, 5 liveries he's going to run. This is one of them. The base, by the way, for the 7 and the 26 were all done by bulldogmotorsports.jimbo.com. I did the rest. I really like how I did these paints with the help of bulldogmotorsports.jimbo.com. By the way, if you want to send a donation to bulldogmotorsports.jimbo.com, the link to his website is down in the description below, as well as the Discord link for World Racing Association. Link to that also down in the description below. Daniel Voiles really has a fast hot rod, the 26 car, as the late Eric McClure leads. As Chloe Carmichael's back here at the rear of the field. Does she have any damage? Or is she off the pace? Looks like she is off the pace. Like she lost the draft. This is another car I also painted by myself, the Lowe's Chevrolet. But it's not a Hendrick Motorsports. It is not a Turner Buick Racing. That is the owner, Timmy Turner. Chloe Carmichael losing the draft. Dakota Armstrong, Mike Harmon. There's Josh Ryu, who got the final spot on time. Chloe Erickson. This is also another paint scheme I made. And the cars that D and Q, like the Washington Sisters, Scoutmaster, Knight, Wayne Lopez, Danny Rand. Those paint schemes were also painted by me with the render help of Bulldog and Richard, by the way. That pretzel number 46 of Chloe Erickson. I really like this paint scheme. The 46 is running. I think Daniel Voiles is taking part. Oh, I forgot the 94 is also in here. I did make sure Joey Gase got spelled correctly, because I don't know who the idiot put Joey Gacy, which is Gasey. This is another car that got painted by me. That's Brendan Rogers, also part of Daniel Voiles Racing. Of course, he's getting engines and everything from my team. Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, couple of Sprint Cup drivers. Same with Chase Elliott. Oh, Kyle Langland was also painted by me with help of Bulldog Motorsports. That's, by the way, Gene Evans, for anyone asking who he is. JJ Yaley has lost the draft. Kyle Langland is in that second pack. There's Ross Chastain, about to lose the lead draft. There's Maddie Crenshaw. I forgot there is some girls in this field. Maddie Crenshaw being one of them. Another paint scheme that was also done by me with the help of Bulldog Motorsports. As Daniel Voiles gonna get some help from Blake Cook, but starting to drop back as now Eric McClure, the late Eric McClure, leads this race. Coming to complete 15 laps of 70. Update on Ryan Sieg, a valve let go on his Chevrolet. That's a tough break for him. The good news is for him, though, as well as for everyone in this race, this is a 9 points race. Just FYI. And if you're wondering why there was no signups, there's a legitimate reason for this. I probably bet you in the comment section from qualifying yesterday, I got a lot of bras saying, Voiles, how the hell did Kyle Busch didn't make the show along with Dale Jr.? Well, you had to be in the top 33 to make the show. Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. were not in the top 33. They were running for Sprint Cup points. Despite driving for big organizations, unfortunately, they had to go home. I think the only junior motorsports cars is Chase Elliott, and I believe that's it. Just Chase Elliott. Because there's no Regan Smith because Brittany White is the replace. Well, technically, you can say Brittany White's also part of Junior Motorsports, but it's in a collaboration with DVR, just FYI. As Dean DeVoyle's in the 26. Also, forgot to mention Firehouse Subs. He's got a Firehouse Subs paint scheme he'll be running during the season. And who are they coming up to lap? They're about to catch Chloe Carmichael, put her a lap down. Let me see how many. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. We have 36 gentlemen, 4 ladies in the field. I think the highest female would be Brittany White right here, right behind, ironically, you can say her team owner, Dean DeVoyles. Brittany White's got Payday, Skittles on that Chevy Camaro ZL1. I know Brittany White, when we get to the new Buffalo Wild Wings Series season for 2027, she's not going to go full time. She's going to be one of those, will be showing up every now and then. You can say the same for the 26. Even though the 26 is going to be a full time entry, which I should also explain about the new Buffalo Wild Wings Series rules coming up, that there will not be any DNQs. We will have all-star drivers. The 26 is going to be one of those teams. They will run the full schedule, but will be with 4 drivers I talked about. Dean DeVoyles being one of them. Annie Thomas, Betty Johnson, and Megan Jones are the other 3 gals we will be seeing in 2027 running those Chevy Camaro ZL1s out of DVR. Thomas and Johnson will run basically the road races. Megan Jones will run majority of the schedule, minus the 5 races I just mentioned, which is Daytona, Talladega, Indy, Charlotte, and Darlington. That's the other. I was about to go blank for a second, but I was like, nope, I know which truck I'm thinking of. As Eric McClure still leads, the late Eric McClure. David Starr now in second. Dean DeVoyles in third. Maddie Crenshaw for Ricky Cervantes' team is now in fourth. And she's got Domino. Should also mention one of 2 cars that will have the Domino sponsorship, the other being Annie Thomas in the 26. Dean DeVoyles has not run this paint scheme since, 2016? Sheesh, it's been that long. Good grief. Oh, yeah, no need to show you the point standings because, as I said, this is a non-points event. Dean DeVoyles' sponsors that he will run in the 5 races, this car being one of those sponsors, the AMW Cream Soda. He's got Fuzzies he's going to be sponsored. Also got Cinnabon. Trying to think what. Oh, yeah. Firehouse Subs. I just mentioned that just earlier. And then it will be the Icy the Iceversary. For anyone that doesn't know what Iceversary is, you know how we say anniversary, but it will be the Iceversary. That was to celebrate a milestone for the icy products. He will also have that paint scheme with him. As Daniel Suarez is going to take the lead from Eric McClure. So those would be the 5 paint schemes Daniel Voiles will run. And like I said, the other 3, which is as I thought I saw some skid marks off of turn number 4 there for a second, as Voiles looks to take the race lead. Don't know if anybody has had troubles or not. Dakota Armstrong has lost the draft, mainly because of all of the 39 blowing up. That's what separated this pack. As Daniel Voiles has the lead, can he get down in front of the 18? The answer is no. And Daniel Suarez is going to retake the lead. And they're about to lap Chloe Carmichael. One thing about this track, and I should point this out to everybody, is that if the race does end under yellow, I'm going to throw a little warning out. For whatever reason, the pace car crashes into the end of the pit wall. And we have to make a funny pun about the pace car crash. I've seen it in other NR series as they're now catching the Lowe's Chevrolet of Chloe Carmichael. She doesn't have any damage. Yeah, I just saw those skid marks there off a turn. I think that's probably from Ryan Sieg stopping on track. As Chloe Carmichael has gone a lap down. It's really a shame because I really like this paint scheme this 48 has. Got KFC. I think it's got Nike on there. I think the 48's got a problem or something. Either that or she was off the pit. She was, looks like she is up to speed because I don't see any damage on the car. I think she just lost the draft. But her chances of a good result's not going to happen. But like I said, this is a non-points event. This is not like if you have a win, you're in the top 30 in the points, yada, yada, yada. No, this is a non-points event. So even if she doesn't have a good finish, just a reminder, it is a non-points event. Doesn't matter if you win, finish 15th, finish 20th, doesn't matter. It's a non-points event. This is for bragging rights. Same for the drivers that DNQ'd. It's a non-points event as... Wait a second. Scott Lagacy is a lap down. There he is. Why is he a lap down? Did he make a pit stop or something? Yes, he did. He came to pit road. What he has to hope for, Scott Lagacy, is Eric Almirola is about to get swallowed up by Chase Elliott, who's leading the second pack. Because we only have 12 drivers in this lead pack, including the lap car of Chloe Carmichael. But it looks like the 10 car did make a pit stop. So he is good to go. The only problem I have for that is the last thing Scott Lagacy Jr. needs to see is a caution. What he needs to hope for is these drivers make their pit stops and cycle out. The last thing he needs to see is a caution to where he will get trapped a lap down and he will never be able to recover, unfortunately. I wonder if he had a tire going down because there would be no other reason why he pitted that early on as far as that's concerned. Not only that, he pitted by himself, which he didn't do his hopes of. He didn't do himself any favors. And now we're down to 37 drivers on the lead lap. We still have 39 of the 40 starters still in this race. The only one out of the race is Ryan Sieg, who will finish in the 40th position. Again, non-points event. Doesn't matter if you finish 40th. Doesn't matter if you DNQ'd. Doesn't matter if you finish 27th and had a bad day. The only thing that matters is that you made the show for a special event race. That's all it matters. Nearing the midway point of today's race, no cautions. As the late Eric McClure leads, we will have Morgan Shepherd, and also we're going to have GMS Racing as they're coming up to lap Jeffrey Earnhardt and Dakota Armstrong. Both of them have lost the draft. Those drivers that are like well behind the lead pack, like 18 seconds, they're going to need a caution. As for these drivers, they're now halfway through a fuel run. The 24 is off sequence. But the 10 is off sequence, excuse me, not the 24. Oh, Brittany White's gone up in smoke. Looks like the engine has let go on the McDonald's Chevrolet, and Brittany White is now the second driver out of this race. That's a Chevrolet. That's also out of DVR. I'd be a nervous wreck about the 26, to be quite honest with you, because remember, that's a teammate. And remember, they get their engines also from Hendrick. I'd be concerned about the Chevrolets because you just lost two Chevrolets just like that. It's a break for Brittany White. She is now the second driver out of the race due to mechanical failures, so wondering if the 7 team kind of went a little overkill on the tape. And if they did, that's not good. So unfortunately, Brittany White now out of this race. And we'll join Ryan Sieg back in the garage area. Of course, both of them are mechanical failures. We have not had a driver out of the race due to a crash. That's a shame for Brittany White. As I mentioned, who started, really a shame for Brittany White, started on the front row alongside Blake Cook. Unfortunately, out of the race just like that. And as I said, will be the second driver who will fail to finish. Speaking of Blake Cook, he's running in 9th. As we're nearing the midway point of today's race. Very good run for DV, running in 7th. Brian Scott, Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon having a good run. Same with Maddie Crenshaw in the top 10. Chloe Carmichael is a lap down. She's about to lose the leaders again. Let's ride on board the 48 machine. On board the Lowe's Chevrolet of Chloe Carmichael. Yeah, she doesn't have any damage. And yeah, you see those skid marks there. Don't need another incident like what we saw in the Red Bull GT series, where drivers hit that pit wall, especially these speeds these drivers are going, which is about 176 miles an hour. As you're seeing what it's like to race here at April, where you're turning not just left, but also right on a restrictor plate, which these drivers are never used to that. I mean, White, Voiles, Carmichael, Rogers, Langland, those drivers have had experience of turning right and left on a restrictor plate at a track like this, but like Suarez, Starr, Cockrum, Cook, Scott, Wallace Jr., Austin Dillon, they're never used to turning left and right on a restrictor plate. They're used to turning left and right on a road course, but not on a restrictor plate track like this. Now comes the question for these drivers: when will they come to pit road, the leaders? Because remember, the 10 of Scott Lagsy came in by himself, which is not what you need to do. If we go green the rest of the way, they will have to stop. Because remember, this is a 70 lap race. And they can only go on the GNS mod 63, which, by the way, is 22 gallons of fuel if you're doing the math in your head. Eric McClure leading this race. As I'm recording this, I'm on my off day, my first off day of the week. Normally would have been my second, but I had to work yesterday on a Monday. Yeah, really a rare Monday for me. But that's all right. Not a big deal. As Daniel Voiles has been running in the top 10. I wonder when they're going to come to pit road, these drivers. Let's give you a driver perspective on the 26. Daniel Voiles really just knowing this has been a very good weekend for him. Funny thing is, he did go to victory lane in the Monster Energy Series when it was when he was driving a Mercedes Benz. I think he's going to do that again in 2027. I could be wrong. As Daniel Suarez leads, we're coming to 30 laps of racing to go here at April Super Speedway. Sonic the Blue Hedgehog with you here at April. Studio engineer Caleb Hobbs back in our World Racing Association studios. as Daniel Suarez right now leads this race. Now we're starting to get in the late stages of this race. No cautions, by the way. Ryan Reed, who I thought was going to be a contender, because remember, he won at Daytona. Elliott Sadler. Wonder if this is like strategy for these guys back here at the rear of the field. Look at all these big names. Kyle Larson, Brendan Gaughan, Jeremy Clements, who is a former winner of Daytona, Kyle Langland in the 25, his teammate Brendan Rodgers in the 94. Think these drivers playing strategy. Ty Dillon had to go owner points. Same with Chase Elliott. Kind of surprised Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski not making up any ground, as that second pack, by the way, led by Derek White. And Chloe Carmichael has lost the draft. I wonder if she's got an engine problem or something. Because that 48 is really not staying, really has been off the pace. So, not really sure what is wrong with the 48. And remember, that's another Chevrolet, I like to point out. Oh, we got a crash. We got a crash. Ty Dillon's involved. Joey Gase, Brendan Gaughan, the caution is out. And that is not what the 10 wanted to see. That the 10 being of Scott Lagasse, because that is going to trap him a lap down as a result. I think we had a wreck where drivers, I think, were trying to come to pit road, if I'm correct. That was not what Scott Lagasse wanted to see. That's gonna take him out of a good finish as a result. But were they trying to pit is the question. As the pace car is out, they're already out of the throttle. The rest of the field trying to catch up. As caution's out for the first time today, these drivers will come to pit road. But that was not what Scott Lagasse Jr. wanted to see. That is going to take him out of contention for a solid finish, if not possibly winning this race. As we're going to jump back, look at a replay to find out what happened while these drivers get ready to make their pit stops, as we're already past the halfway point here at April in the 4th of July 250. Let's see what happened here going through 3 and 4. Got to figure out where the initial contact is going to start. I don't know if somebody hit the apron. Oh, Brendan Gaughan, Ty Dillon started this wreck. Gonna need to go back to a different angle there. Okay, TV1's not gonna give me a good angle. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Let's get to a... Okay, this should be a good angle. Looks like Brendan Gaughan slid up into the 3 car. Those are, by the way, teammates in that white car. That white car being, that's Joey Gase. And then Ty Dillon goes up into the wall with, I think that's Mike Harmon in the 74, if I'm correct. Elliott Sadler got a piece of it. Was it the 74? Yes, it was, because he was the one that got stuffed into the wall. Or no, that was not Mike Harmon. I'm sorry. There was another black car that got stuffed into the wall there. Oh, I think it was Jeremy Clements. Let me see. Is it Jeremy Clements who got stuffed in the walls? We're going to have another look. I kind of misspoke Jeremy Clements for Mike Harmon. I apologize. Yes, it was Jeremy Clements that got stuffed into the wall. So he's going to have some left side damage on his machine. Elliott Sadler's going to have some damage. And who did Brendan Gaughan get? Oh, he got Ross Chastain, the watermelon. But this time, Chastain was an innocent victim. And both of them going to make some contact with the front end of their Chevrolet. So I think we had drivers, trying to come to pit road. I think Elliott Sadler missed the wreck, as he almost hit the pit wall and almost took himself out of the race. But the caution is out for the first time today. This is not what Scott Lagasse Jr. wanted to see, as he's going to be a lap down as we're going to head to the restart here at April. We're going to go back to green on lap number 48. We got a really interesting situation. Scott Lagasse Jr. did stay out because he pitted, but Dakota Armstrong is a lap down as a result. Not sure what's up on that. We know Chloe Carmichael is a lap down. McClure is the leader. Daniel Voiles second. Jeffrey Earnhardt, by the way, is now a lap down. I think he came to pit road and got lapped by the pace car. David Starr is third. Blake Cook, our pole sitter, in fourth. Matty Crenshaw in fifth. Brian Scott sixth. Seventh is Daniel Suarez. Eighth is Chris Cockrum. Ninth is Derek White, and Chase Elliott complete the top 10. Trouble for Cale Conley, who is running in 15th, as he's got a problem. He will have to come to pit road as a result. Nobody out of the race after that incident. I probably felt like the reason for that yellow was probably the tires were going away on some of those drivers. That's probably why the 62 slid up into the 3. That's our first wreck of the day. Kind of surprised it took us later in that race, but you got to give these drivers a lot of props for trying to take it easy and waited till like 40 laps or something for our first yellow of the race. Green flag back in the air. We'll update you on the 14, why he's coming to pit road. Dakota Armstrong's going to need a caution along with the 48. Both of them are up to speed. As McClure still leads. By the way, the caution good for a number of drivers that were like 18 seconds behind the leaders. Now they are all caught back up, and now they're all back together again. Let's update you on Cale Conley. He is returning the race, but he is now a lap down as a result. So we still have 38 drivers on track, 36 of them now on the lead lap. As Cale Conley is, like I said, going to be all by his lonesome, as the leaders are about to get ready to lap him soon. It'll be now 33 on the lead lap. How bad is the 3's damage? And it looks like he is off the pace. Same with Brendan Gaughan. Remember, they were involved in that first wreck. Same with Elliott. Looks like Elliott Sadler didn't get a lot of damage. Kind of surprised Ross Chastain is still up to speed. Actually, didn't realize Eric Almirola lost the draft. Same with Joey Gase, Jeremy Clemens. I think all these guys were involved in that wreck. Brendan Gaughan and Austin Dillon probably got the worst of that deal. And there might be an engine problem on Cale Conley because he's going about 30 miles an hour slower. So he must have dropped a cylinder or something under that yellow. That's a tough break for him. And yes, he has gone a lap down as a result. And look who just took the lead. Chase Elliott. Remember, he was laying back in case something like that happened. And now here he is in the lead for Junior Motorsports. But here comes Eric McClure in the 24, the late Eric McClure. As we're starting to get into the nitty-gritty of this race. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast, retransmit, or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association is prohibited. Blue Hedgehog TV, the World Racing Association, want to thank you fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Yeah, he is about 30 miles an hour, he being Cale Conley. As Chase Elliott's now in the lead. This is kind of what Chase Elliott had planned. That first wreck, that was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 cars. Now we got a car that is off the pace, that is not due to damage. Whoa, Chase Elliott had to take an avoidance. That's going to hurt some drivers on that inside line. Chloe Erickson was one of the drivers who was laying back as Conley cannot get out of the way quick enough. And that's going to hold up a lot of people in the process. It was like a few of them got away with it. They're also going to catch Ty Dillon. Remember, Ty was involved in that caution we just had a few moments ago. Langland's going to get around the outside. This is really throwing a hatchet job in some people's races, if you ask me. Kyle Langland, Chloe Erickson. Of course, Chloe has not raced in the NSCRA in a very long time since another Xfinity series. Of course, Chloe's been focusing more over here in the World Racing Association, which makes a lot of sense. So that's why we haven't seen her race over in the NSCRA in a long time. Dakota Armstrong, that's not for position, by the way. Dakota's on the tail end of the lead lap. Think he came to pit road before that caution came out, got trapped the lap down. Scott Lagasse, that caution, that untimely caution did not help his cause. Boy, this race could get really ugly. They're about to lap Ty Dillon, by the way, who's about 20 miles an hour slower. Up 98's out of the race. That's Eric Almirola. Looks like a mechanical problem, or did he get wrecked? Yep, mechanical problem. Okay. So there's our first Ford car out of this race. Now we're down to 37 as a result, as they all got around Cale Conley. They have caught up to Ty Dillon. Remember, Ty was involved in that caution. Now he's holding up Chase Elliott. Of course, that's, by the way, for position for Dakota Armstrong's, because remember, the 3 cars off the pace due to damage. The 43 is up to speed. There will be signups for this series. Don't worry. For the new Buffalo Wild Wings series. I'm just doing these special events with the real Xfinity drivers before we do the signups. Just FYI, if you're wondering why there's no signups for these special events. as Daniel Voles has been in the top 10 for pretty much the entire race, which is pretty impressive. How far are they away from Conley? Conley's entering turn number 1. Yeah, he is like well off the pace. Brendan Gaughan's also another driver. I have a feeling the 14 and the 62 are going to play a factor in who's going to win this race. By the way, Derek White is in the lead. Oh, by the way. And remember, he was in that second pack for most of the first half of this race. Which, interestingly enough, that's the same ride I made the playoffs in the NNSCRA in the final season. Which I end up finishing off a very good season over in the NNSCRA, which was, by the way, the Xfinity series. Blake Cook right now has a chance to win this race, but I have a feeling that 14 is going to be a problem. Chase Elliott, Scott Legacy, Matty Crenshaw is going to catch Chase Elliott before too long. Good run for Kyle Langland. Remember, Kyle was at the rear of the field, by the way. Fastest lap, Ty Dillon, 48.945. And Ty Dillon was already involved in the big one, so he had a race-winning car. As they have now caught the 14. Oh, Blake Cook, Daniel Voiles just got held up as this fly can't get out of the way quick enough. The 14 is going to cause a wreck if he's not careful. Daniel Voiles not happy with the 14 not getting out of the way quick enough. And Chase Elliott's now getting held up, and just like that, here comes the second pack. I have a feeling the 14 is going to wreck somebody. Because if you're going like 30 miles an hour off the pace, you should just get off the track right about now. And that costed Daniel Voiles possibly a chance to win this race, which is a shame. As Cale Conley still can't get out of the way and can't find any speed. He's like well off the pace. And if he's not careful, he's going to cause a wreck, which that could really affect the outcome of this race. Notice there were some skid marks over in turn number 1. Or is that from the wreck? I think that's from the wreck. Oh, yeah, there was some skid marks. Hold up. There must have been a wreck over here I didn't see. Let's put it on none. Because they weren't there when I saw the yellow flag. And I'm trying to figure out where those skid marks came from. Hold on. Let me go back to the 3. Yeah, because I noticed there's some skid marks in turn number 1 that I didn't see the first time. And we're about to investigate that. I'm going to, by the way, pause the game so I don't miss the finish. But why were there skid marks in turn 1? Hold on. Let's figure this out. Let's go to none. Because I noticed somebody spun. I wonder if it's from that following instant. Let's see. Because they weren't there the first time I checked, unless the one car had something to do with it. Let's see. Okay, there's where everybody took the yellow. Trying to investigate why there were skid marks over here in turn. Yeah, right here. I wonder if there was a wreck that I didn't see, or why Elliott Sadler is not up to. Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying to investigate where those skid marks came from in turn one, because they weren't there the first time. I think this will probably answer our question here, because there was something I saw. Yeah, that's what I need to see. Was there something I didn't see? Because I don't understand why there's skid marks in turn number one. And I'm trying to figure this out. Wonder if somebody got turned or something like that. I didn't see that. Because there would be no other reason why there is skid marks in turn number one. I'm trying to figure that out. Well, I can't figure it out. Well, whoever skid marks it is, apparently they saved it. But I don't know who they belong to. That's why I was trying to figure out why there were skid marks in turn number one. I wonder if we might have a culprit. Either that or when Eric Almirola blew up. I don't know. Wish I could give you the answer, but as Eric McClure is still the leader, Derek White in second, Daniel Voiles is now in third. As they've caught up to Brendan Gaughan here. Remember, Brendan Gaughan was involved in that caution. Looks like the leaders got around. Chase Elliott has now caught up to Daniel Voiles and Blake Cook, who got held up by the 14. Yeah, it's these skid marks right here over there on the right side of your screen. I don't know who that belonged to. Whoever it belonged to, that's a tough break. Cale Conley, I can tell you, is going to cause an accident if he's not careful, which could play a major factor in this race. As Daniel Voiles and company got caught by Chase Elliott. Barring a caution, which, by the way, how far are they catching the 14? Of course, they're going to catch Elliott Sadler very soon. They've already put Brendan Gaughan a lap down, which the top two have already done so. So we're down to 5 to go. Don't think they're going to catch the leaders unless the one car gets in the way. Yeah, they're about to catch Cale Conley before this thing is all said and done with. Remember, Conley is off the pace. Of course, Dakota Armstrong in front of Eric McClure, but that's not for position. As the 43 got got trapped a lap down, got put on the tail and lead lap, never was able to recover. We're down to 4 laps of racing to go. I notice we're going to be on that number in a couple of laps. As looks like they got around Cale Conley without much of a problem. Now they're going by Elliott Sadler, putting him a lap down. Remember, Sadler was up. Kyle Larson's out with an ignition. They're also lapping Ty Dillon. Oh, by the way. So Larson's day is done. Oh, I heard scraping. I heard scraping. I heard someone scrape the wall. I don't know who it was. Oh, no. Now Cale Conley is going to be now going to get in the way. Oh, he's hit Chase Elliott. Elliott in the wall. Cale Conley has intentionally caused a caution. That's going to end this race. Ah, no. Oh, it's the big one. Cale Conley, what were you thinking, my man? Kyle Langland's involved. Everybody's got to scramble. Caution is out. That will end the race. Chris Buescher's got damage. Does Clements have damage or no? No, he does not. Okay. And Cale Conley just caused an incident and is going to allow his teammate Eric McClure to win this race. Oh my God. You knew something like that was going to happen, and it happened. And Cale Conley's been called to the Xfinity hauler after this race because that was really avoidable. That really should have been avoided. That's a tough break for Kyle Langland. Brendan Gaughan's second wreck he's been involved in today. Chase Elliott's got to be absolutely pissed at Cale Conley. I don't know if Chase Elliott's coming to pit road. I mean, what's the point? As we're coming to the white flag, one more lap to go, unless he's retiring from the race, which I question why. Trying to see who also had damage. There's Chloe Erickson, not the finish she was hoping for. So the caution is out, our second of the day. We are not going to get back to green because we're inside the red flag window. So this race is going to end under the yellow. We will look back at a replay in a minute or in a little bit. So it looks like it's going to be the late Eric McClure, Derek White, Daniel Voiles, Matty Crenshaw, Austin Dillon, the top 5. David Starr, Chris Cockrum, top 10 run for him. Josh Rayum, Justin Marks, and Landon Castle will complete the top 10. As here comes the yellow and the checker flag out for Eric McClure, the late Eric McClure. The only race we will have him in this series. He is going to win the 4th of July 250 here today at 8 Bowl. And the pace car crashed. And now the pace car driver's got to go to the care center. Before we take you to your official finisher results, let's jump back and look at a replay to see what happened as this caution came out and gave Eric McClure the victory. Well, I can tell you a lot of drivers are definitely not going to be happy with the 14. See, the 14 is off the pace, and apparently he just moved over into Chase Elliott. Brendan Gaughan nowhere to go. Jeffrey Earnhardt got a piece of it. That was Daniel Suarez who got into the Napa Chevrolet. And see, they're trying to leave the scene. Kyle Langland gets involved. He goes up, gets Chris Buescher. Took both of those cars into the wall. Yep, got the right front of the 25. Gets Chris Buescher. Kyle, by the way, has climbed out of his car. He's okay, but was looking like he was going to have a good points day, or not good, or good finish. He was running 13th, and Kyle got taken out because of a lap car who couldn't get off the racetrack. That's a tough break for Chris Buescher. Was running 12th. He's not going to get the finish to show for it. And Chase Elliott did take his car back behind the wall, so he's not going to have a good finish as well. So the caution, our second of the day, and our final caution of the day. Let's take you to your official finisher results to wrap up here at 8 Bowl. While the pace car is still having, as the safety team is now going to attend to the pace car, why they're stopped in the middle of the racetrack. Eric McClure is the winner. Derek White, Dean DeVos, Matty Crenshaw. Basically, we gave you the top 10. Brad Keselowski actually finished in the 10th position. So good result for Brad. Of course, he had to start mid-pack. Mario Goslin, Ryan Reed, Blake Cook, our pole sitter, Darrell Wallace Jr., Brendan Rodgers, the top 15, as Eric McClure just ghosted through the pace car. We'll just go to the 24 just because I don't have anything else to do. Good run for Brendan Rodgers. Look through the rest of the finishing results here. Chloe Erickson, 21st. She was one of the contenders that could have had a chance to possibly had a good result today. Justin Marks will finish the last car on the lead lap. Chase Elliott did not reach the conclusion. He will finish a lap down in 28th. Jeffrey Earnhardt, Chloe Carmichael trapped the lap down, never was able to recover. Scott Lagasse, that caution really hurt his chances of a good result here today. Finished in 31st. Daniel Suarez, Kyle Langland out of the race from that wreck. Ty Dillon got caught up in that first caution. Brendan Gaughan out of the race from the incident. Cale Conley, I really don't know what he was thinking, why he couldn't get off the track and cause that last caution that ruined any good chances of a good finish. And, of course, he has already been called to the Xfinity Series hauler immediately to explain his actions. And then those four drivers that retired out of the race, they joined Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, Brittany White, and Ryan Sieg, who all dropped out of the race due to mechanical problems. They joined those drivers back behind the wall. So if you want to include Chase Elliott, it looks like 8 of the 40 starters unfortunately failed to finish and did not see the checker flag. So really a shame for those drivers that got involved in that incident. Really don't know what Cale Conley was thinking, but congratulations to the late Eric McClure on the victory here at 8 Bowl Super Speedway. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed today's race. Subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We've shown your full finish results. We'll see you guys next time at Talladega for the birthday bash at Talladega Super Speedway. Now for our studio engineer, Carmen Alejandro and Caleb Hobbs, I'm Dee DeVos. Thank you for joining me and saying goodbye and good night. Actually, I'm Sonic the Blue Hedgehog because Dean DeVos is out of his car. But anyway, goodbye from 8 Bowl Super Speedway. And coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. We'll talk to you for the birthday bash at Talladega. You've been watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series mock on the World Racing Association's Multimedia Network.